Hello, everyone. Today's presentation is about reasoning and constructing viable arguments in a mathematics class by implementing math talks in your classroom. So, before we begin, let me explain what a math talk is. A math talk is a conversation in which students and teachers discuss strategies for solving a problem and various mathematical ideas. If you teach in an early elementary grade, you've most likely heard of this as a number talk. So, if you're familiar with the idea of number talks, you're really familiar with math talks as well. The two terms are really used interchangeably. To get a better idea of what a math talk is, there's a few characteristics that you're going to see in a math talk. First and foremost, both students and teachers are actively involved in the discussion by contributing ideas, posing questions, and listening to others. What I argue and what most people will say is actually, while the teacher plays a role in a math talk, it's really the students who are guiding the math talk and are doing the bulk of the work. It can be very difficult for teachers to step back, but that is exactly what is needed when we're talking about having a great math talk. In addition, students are going to discover multiple pathways to see or solve a problem. So many students are going to be brought up to show their different ways of thinking. Students are going to talk about the different strategies and should hopefully see that a problem can be solved in more than one way. Lastly, when a math talk is taking place, the classroom environment is respectful and encourages multiple ideas and understandings. So throughout today's conversation, first I'm going to explain to you why is it that we're learning about a math talk in a curriculum course. How do I set up a math talk? That's particular if you're coaching a teacher on how to set up a math talk. The components of an effective math talk, so when you're going in and observing and coaching, what should you be seeing and how can you provide feedback on that? And then at the end, you're going to be going on to the Sakai Forum to see a math talk in action. So why are we learning about math talks? Well, all of you are hoping to become principals, and this quote really stood out to me from our What Principals Need to Know About Teaching and Learning Mathematics. It says that it's the principal's role to ensure all teachers use higher level cognitive demand tasks as an integral part of students' learning experiences during a unit of study. When I think about a math class, the most high level cognitive demand I've seen is when students are engaged in a math talk. It requires students to really think outside of the box and move beyond algorithms and specific procedures and to see things in a different way and to really talk about the math that they're doing and show a high level of understanding. So learning about math talks and helping your teachers implement them in their math class is a great way to make sure that the teachers are using high level cognitive demand tasks in their classroom. Additionally, on Tuesday, we talked about how math talks are a great way to incorporate SMP 3 into mathematics instruction. And as a reminder, SMP 3 is this idea of being able to explain my thinking and trying to understand others' thinking. So, if I'm coaching a teacher on utilizing math talks in their classroom, the first thing I'm going to coach them on is creating guidelines for discussion. Before we even try to implement a math talk, we're going to go over with students the expectations for a math talk and make sure that they are followed throughout the day, not just during a math talk. So I want to make sure that, as I see in the anchor chart to the right, that students are treating each other with respect, especially when a student gets an answer wrong, because that is bound to happen during a math talk. I'm going to be working to making sure that my students are trying even when the problems are hard, working on SMP 1 right there, that students are participating and showing others that they're listening by nodding their head, giving eye contact. So I'm going to be working with students on those particular skills. I'm going to establish a community in which mistakes are valued, and that students understand that their role as a listener is not just to be listening, but also to be asking follow-up questions. Once I feel that the classroom community has established these things, then I feel ready to start tackling a math talk. So if I'm coaching a math teacher, I'm really going to be working with him or her on creating this type of environment first. An anchor chart is a great tool for this. In my classroom, the anchor chart is up all year because we review these things before every math talk. We review them during other parts of our day, even when we're not doing a math talk. Once those things are set in place, then I'm going to work on explicitly teaching students how to participate in the discussion. And the way that most teachers do that is by teaching students specific sentence starters. So they're going to teach the students how to present their own work if they are the one asked to share their work with the class. And they're going to share with students how to ask questions about another student's work. So I'm going to see this across the board from a K classroom all the way through a high school classroom. But I'm going to see the number of questions and sentence starters change based on what grade I'm working with, and I'm going to see the complexity of the sentence starters change as well. I frequently see students during a math talk go up to the anchor chart, look, okay, I want to use that sentence starter right now, so that they're being more respectful. So students, instead of saying that answer is wrong, learn, okay, I don't think that answer is correct. I'm going to go up to the anchor chart and look, okay, I'm going to use the sentence starter, I disagree with you because. So that's really important. Once I've established these two steps of creating that environment of respect and active listening, and I've taught students the sentence starters and question frames, I am set to go to start my math talks, okay? So here I am, I'm going to go through what a math talk will really look like in a classroom. So first and foremost is the biggest part the teacher has. The teacher is asked to find a challenging problem for the class. This is not an easy task because they need to find a problem in which students have some form of background knowledge, but is going to lead to students having more than one possible answer. It also needs to be a challenging problem for all students in the class, not just those who are below level in mathematics instruction. That's really the teacher's job right there, is to select the problem. The students are going to be carrying the bulk of the weight for the rest of the math talk. So once I've selected my problem, I'm going to show it to my students, and I'm going to give them ample time to solve it. That's going to look differently from grade to grade. When I taught third grade, I was looking at about 8 to 10 minutes. Fifth grade, I give around 15, sometimes 18 minutes to solve the problem. I am not answering student questions at that time. The goal is for students really to be persevering right here. There's that SMP 1. And for them to think of many different ways to solve a problem. So even if the student solves the problem at minute 6 and there's 4 more minutes to go, I'm going to go up to them and say, hey, see if you can find another way to solve it, because that's going to help them have a better math talk. When the students are ready, have the students share their work with the class. I might call on a student and they're going to tell me, hey, my answer was 63. I'm going to write 63 on the board. I am not going to say, good job, you got it right, or ooh, no. I'm not going to indicate any level of correctness. I'm going to ask several students to share their answers. I'm going to put them all up on the board. Then I'm going to select one student who maybe shared, let's go with the student who had the answer 63. I'm going to ask that student to show their work to the class, okay? And they're going to go through how they solved the problem, or a lot of times they'll see teachers put their work under a document camera so the students can see all of the work. And the class then is going to start explaining how a specific answer could have been obtained. So how did Joe get 63? Well, I think Joe, based on the work I see on the board, did this, this, and this. We're going to ask as many students as possible to defend the answer, as they may have many different strategies or approaches to solving the problems. Okay. When students defend the answer, you might need to, as a teacher, be there to facilitate a little bit. You might notice there's a lag in discussion, and that's when you're going to pose questions that ask students to clarify their thinking, consider alternative methods or answers, or activate some background knowledge. That's particularly going to happen if a strategy was used that no one else used, or if it's early in the year and the students don't have a lot of practice with math talks. That's basically the flow of the math talk. So now what I would like you to do is I would like you to go to Sakai, and there's a forum board labeled Sample Math Talk. Watch the video that's attached and then answer the questions I provided. It's my hope that once you see that math talk, a lot of what I just said will make sense. This is my first time doing an online portion of a lecture, so if anything did not make sense or if I skipped things, please post them on the Sakai board or bring them to class on Tuesday, and I'm happy to go over anything with you.